Hey guys, it's Drew again. So as you can tell from the title of the video, today I want to talk about football, or at least a couple of football cards. I've never been much of a football fan. I know a little bit here and there just as a sports fan, but baseball's always been my sport. But while I've never actively collected any football cards or memorabilia, I do have two football cards in my collection. Both of them are the same player. Both of them are autographed, and both of them are vintage. The player is Billy Shaw. So I'll show them to you real quick if you're not sure who Billy Shaw is. Played for the Buffalo Bills back in the 1960s. First is 1966, and the other is a 1970. So if you're unfamiliar with who Billy Shaw is or was as a football player, let me tell you a little bit about him. He played from 1961 to 1969. His entire career, he played for the Buffalo Bills. He was an 8-time AFL All-Star in his 9 seasons. 7 times he was an All-AFL team. 2 times he was an AFL champion when the Bills won in 1964 and 1965. He is in the Bills Wall of Fame. He was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1989, and due to the fact that he retired just before the 1970 season, which is when the NFL officially merged with the AFL, Billy Shaw is the only player in the Pro Football Hall of Fame that never actually played in the NFL. So it's one of those little quirky things about his career. But anyway, the question is why do I have any Billy Shaw stuff in my collection when I'm not much of a football fan? Well, I'll tell you. The reason is because Billy Shaw is a friend of mine. I've known Billy for a number of years, and we go to church together. We live in the same town, and so I want to talk about Billy as the person, not just as the player, and just share a couple of stories because I figured, why not? That's what I do, share stories. So Billy, I've known Billy for a number of years, like I said, and I want to recount a couple of conversations that I had with him. I remember asking him at one point, when you became a Hall of Famer, which wasn't until 1999, his life completely changed. At that point, he was just about retired from his career, which he started his actual career, family, the whole thing after football in 1970. And all of a sudden, he was thrown back into the spotlight. He was somebody that was kind of remembered, but being a Hall of Famer will take it to a new level. So I asked him, I said, Billy, is there anything that a point when you just looked around and you're like, what am I doing here? And he said, absolutely. He said, when he goes up to Canton or any kind of big Hall of Fame event, because there's so many people there, so many players are Hall of Famers, what they do is they line everybody up alphabetically. And he said one time he was standing there and he looked, and on one side was Don Shula and on the other side was Gale Sayers. And he's thinking, why in the world am I standing up here? And Billy's a super humble guy, a very kind gentleman, and so I just thought that was funny, that he's, when you start to look at it from being just a regular guy or a person and seeing the thought process through his mind. I asked him one time about cards and collecting and stuff, and I said, do you have anything? And of course, he has some rings. You can see a picture of it here. This is one of his championship rings from back in the 60s. And the other one here is his Hall of Fame ring. And it's pretty impressive. Both of them are impressive. He's the type of guy that if you ask him, hey, can I see your ring? He would slip it off and let you wear it or look at it. And it's just really kind of cool. He's that kind of a guy. He loves talking to people about football, about the guys he played with and the team. He's always talking about that team, that community that was so great for that little dynasty they had back in the 60s. And he's very humble as far as his part within that team. But I asked him about his, collection, or did he have anything? And he said the only cards he ever really had were, he has all of his playing days cards, and he told me he has them lined up on a shelf, I think in a den or something in his house. And he said, but I never got my rookie card. He said, I always thought it would be kind of cool to have my rookie card. And I thought it was kind of funny that, even he was searching for his own rookie card. So I told him, and this was probably 10 or 12 years ago, and I said, Billy, if you need me, I can find it for you. And he said, Yeah, where could you find one? I said, well, you can go online and on eBay or something. And he wasn't familiar with how to do any of that. So he's like, yeah, absolutely. If you can find one of those cards for me, buy it for me and I'll pay you back. And so I did a little research, and I was at home and I was looking online and I found one. There was only one at the time I was looking. There was only one listed on eBay. And so I called him up and I said, "Hey Billy, this is Drew. I found your rookie card." He's like, "Oh, that's fantastic. You go ahead and buy it, and then I'll pay you back." And I said, "But Billy, it's kind of expensive." He said, "Oh, how much could it be? It's only a football card." And I said, "Well, they want $75 for it." $75? Why in the world would it be $75? It's just a card. He had no idea about the intrinsic value. And I said, "Well, Billy, the thing about this one is it's autographed." And he said, "Well, I can sign it." It just kind of blew my mind. I don't think about that. It was the fact that someone had an autographed rookie card of a Hall of Fame player gave it extra value, which as collectors we understand. But him as the player, all he has to do is write his name on something and it adds value to it. And it was kind of weird to see it from the other perspective. And so the other story that I want to share real quick was I asked him, I said, what was it like when you first got in and Hall of Fame and stuff? And he said, well, he started getting all this attention from all these card companies, and they have all these inserts and they had all these autographed cards of Hall of Famers and stuff. So constantly he was getting requests and he was under contract to sign just like any player today would. And I said, well, what was that like? And he said, well, me and Patsy's his wife, and me and Patsy, he said, we would just sit there and we would be watching Wheel of Fortune, and Patsy would hand me a card and I'd sign my name to it and I'd look at the thing and hand it back, and then she'd give me another one. And so as a fan, if you ever wonder, when it is or how these players sign all these cards that are out there and inserted into packs, as far as Billy Shaw, he's sitting there on a TV table with his wife watching Wheel of Fortune, and that's how he signs his cards. And I just thought that was kind of a different look. I don't know. Anyway, it was just kind of a funny thing. So anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit of my experience with my experiences with Billy. I don't know if he'll ever watch this video. It's okay if he doesn't. But if he does, Billy, I just want to tell you, I appreciate who you are. I appreciate who you are as a person, as a father, grandfather, and now even great-grandfather. As a husband, I see the way you and Patsy are as a couple, and just absolutely look up and respect the both of you. I see how you are as a Christian and as a follower of Christ, and I really appreciate that, and your spot within our small little community here. And Billy, you're the best, and I just wanted you to know that. I'm going to link for all you others, if you want to know more about Billy, I'm going to link a interview that another channel did a few years ago with Billy Shaw. It's about 40 minutes long, but it talks about how he got drafted and went through and some of his experiences, both as a player and then afterwards getting into the Hall of Fame and stuff like that. And they're actual stories from Billy's mouth to talk about some of the things that he did. So I will link that description below. And check it out if you're interested. If you're a Bills fan, Terry, I gotta be honest, I'm pretty sure you're gonna watch that one. But again, thank you for watching, and you guys be good.